So today what we're going to do is we're going to learn about fractions of an amount. But before I show you that, I'm going to show you an easy way to simplify a fraction. Another way, if the numbers get bigger. If the numbers are very small, you don't need to do much math for it. If you see that they'll both divide by 2, right?
Any extra chairs because I'm missing 2.
Okay. Now this is a method that you can use for a lot of things, and it's not something that you're going to have to use, but it's something that's very easy to use. It's kind of like a reducing machine, and I just want to show it to you very quickly. Okay? So here we go. Let's call it simplify. Yes, please. To simplify fractions. Now remember, we've already talked about simplifying fractions, what it means, but I'm going to show you using upside down division. All right? So, we're using division, but we're going to use it upside down. So let me show you what I'm talking about. For example, okay, that's enough. It can come live up here now, please. All right. So for example, let's say you have a fraction 16 over 34. Right? Now, we know that 16 and 34 are both even, right? They divide, so we know they'll at least divide by what? 2, right? But they might divide by something else. So we need to make sure that we get them as small as possible. Remember, this was the lesson we did last time, yeah? Well, you can do it using what's called upside down division. If you simply put the numerator and then the denominator in a division symbol, and then just divide out things that are common to them until there's nothing common anymore. So in this case, that would be 16 there and 34 there. You've got to get the right one in the right spot. And then you can always start with the smallest number you see. Well, what's the smallest number that'll divide into both of those? Easy. They'll both divide by 2. If you divide by 2, you get 8 and what? Yeah, so you're just dividing. 8 and 17, right? Okay. Is there anything that'll divide evenly into 8 and 17? Pardon? Is there anything that'll divide evenly into 8 and 17? Nope. Well, then, we know that 16 over 34 is an equivalent to 8 over 17. These two numbers become your new numerator and denominator. Now, that was a pretty simple example because it only divided once, but sometimes they'll divide over and over again. Let's say we have 125 over 275. Over 275. Right? Now, is it quick and easy to tell me what that's going to be? Quick. Is it going to be 1/4? 1/3? What? No, it's harder to see because the numbers are bigger, right? Well, we can organize it using this upside down division idea and reduce it very easily. Now, it doesn't matter what number you start with. Always start with the number you see that's most obvious. So let's put in 125 and 275. Well, can anybody see some number that's really obvious that will divide into those? They'll both divide by 5 because they end in 5, right? Remember the rules? If it ends in 5 or 0, it'll divide by 5. So let's divide them by 5. Also remember, you get to use a calculator on some of these. The number one, I've got to look at it. I don't think you're allowed to use a calculator on this assessment. So we have to look at that. But right now, you've got your calculators. What's 125 divided by 5? Someone? 125 divided by 5? Should be a little bigger.
25.
Sorry? 25. There you go. So I was going to say, should be a little bigger. Okay. And now I need to do 275 divided by 5. Anyone?
55.
Sorry? 55? Okay. Now, do you see anything that will divide evenly into both of those? What? They'll divide by 5 again, right? So let's divide again.
Or you can divide 1.
Okay. But if you divide by 1, it doesn't do you any good, though, right? 25 divided by 5 is 5. 55 divided by 5 is 11. Is there anything to divide into 5 and 11 at the same time? Not other than 1. And if you divide by 1, you get exactly what you started with. So that tells me that the simplified form is 5 over 11. Okay? Now again, it's only worth it when you really have big numbers to use, but it does make a difference when you have big numbers to be able to do it in small pieces, and it's just a way of writing it that keeps you very organized. Okay? You're also going to see it later when we do some other stuff. We'll come back to it. That same method can be used for some other things in mathematics. So, just wanted to introduce it to you really quickly. Now, that is not today's lesson, though. That was just kind of an aside for what we were doing last time. So let's go back again and talk about today's lesson, which is taking fractions of an amount. Okay? All right. When we think of fractions, say if you have half of something, half of a sandwich. Do you have the whole sandwich? No, you only have part of it, right? And most of the time, that's what fractions mean, a part of it. Okay? Now, okay, at some point, we assume that there was a whole sandwich, right?
Unless it was nothing to begin.
You just cut it into pieces, didn't you? Can you cut it into smaller and smaller pieces?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Could you then have a bunch of those pieces instead of just one piece?
Yeah.
You bet, right? Okay. So that's what we're talking about by having fractions of an amount. That means part of some number. That's all we're talking about. We're going to have part of some number. And you do this all the time without thinking about it when the fractions are easy. Like half of something. What's half of 8? 4, right? Because you don't think of it as a fraction, you think of it as divide by 2, exactly. And that's what we're going to be looking at when we're talking about these parts. So, to take a fraction of an amount. Oh, guys. Okay. Let's talk about the process. First of all, the fraction bar means to divide. And if I write it for you, you're going to see it, and then you're going to say, oh my gosh, there it is, all of us, just like you've always seen. So, if you have 1 over 2, right, that's the same thing as saying 1 divided by 2. Look at the division symbol. Does it look familiar? It's a fraction bar and 2 dots. It's a fraction, isn't it? So in reality, this is the way the division was really written before, but the division symbol came later. It was invented later to make division easier or look better. Not so it didn't look like a fraction all the time. But if you look at the division symbol, it's just a fraction, isn't it? With 2 dots instead of 2 dots in the fraction bar. So keep that in mind, that the fraction bar always indicates what operation? Division. Okay? Now, when you're taking part of a number, okay, so to take a part of a number, simply divide the number by the denominator. Which part is the denominator? The bottom. Good job. Okay? All right. So, let's just look at a quick example. Oops, this would be off to the side, right? Y'all would have it off to the side in your notes, but I can't do that. I don't have this side. This one. So let's say I want 1/3 of
Pineapple.
21.
Okay.
Okay? So 1/3 of a number, 1/3 of is the same as saying 21 divided by what? What's the denominator of the fraction? 3. And what's 21 divided by 3? And there's your answer. Well, you would multiply it times the numerator, but in this case, what is the numerator? Just a 1. So do you care? There you go. See? Good job. Good eyes, though. Okay? And we will have some where we have a little bit bigger. But I'm going to take you through it the way Education Perfect does because I want you to see the way they explain it so you can focus in on it. Okay? All right. So here we go. Let's look at. So, pardon?
Has everyone done the education perfect? Who hasn't? Raise your hands. I didn't know what it was.
Not quite everybody, but about 95% of you have done it. I was very happy when I saw it. Okay, so here we go. Yes. Okay, just go on there. The assignments will be there and they'll be listed in your Education Perfect. So it's fine. Yeah, because you weren't here. If you're not here, you can't be expected to get it. It's fine. All right, here we go. Fractions are useful for counting all sorts of things. I don't know why that competition there. Especially when you're planning a party. Okay, well, of course. Why not? All right, here we go. Why is that thing on there?
Just pull it out. Yay, the dog's having a party.
There, let me try it now. Nope, I'm going to go to competition. I understand. Poor me. All right. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at some of the most basic ideas of fractions because even those people who think they're really good at fractions, if you're going to make mistakes in mathematics, fractions are one of those things that students do not like. Because they don't behave like 2s and 4s and 3s and 5s. Because a fraction is really not a number. We just said that a fraction, if you have some fraction, a over b, that's not a number. That really means a divided by b, right? So a fraction is really a division problem. And that's why they don't behave like numbers. They can't. Because they're not a number, they're an operation, right? But we can write them like a number, and we can develop their own rules so that they behave like numbers, okay? And that's our goal here. All right, here we go. I'm going to apologize for the liberal use of puppies in this scene. All right. So let's say we're buying 15 balloons, and 1/3 of them need to be red, right? Yes. No, anything that I write down, you should write down, and then I'll tell you though. Okay? So here we want 1/3 of the balloons to be red. Okay? So let's just let's write that. 1/3 of the balloons. Does everyone agree that that's what they're asking about? Okay? Well, 1/3. Anytime you see the word of, that is another mathematical operation. Does anybody know what that operation, that word means? Starts with an M? It means multiplication. There you go. So it means to multiply. And then, how many balloons in this case do we have? 15. Right? Now, so it's 1/3 times 15. All right? But remember that multiplying by a fraction is the same as simply dividing by that bottom number. So 1/3 times 15 simply becomes 15 divided by what? Which is 5. I sure will. So anytime you're taking a fraction of a number, that's the same as simply as just dividing by the bottom part of it, right? But that's only the case if this top number is a 1. If it's anything else, then there's one more step to take. But it's easy, super easy. Okay? All right? So, 1/3 of any number just means multiply by 1/3, and multiplying by 1/3 is the same as divide by what? 3. So what's multiply by 1/5 the same as? Divide by 5. 1/5. 1/5. So 5 divide by 5. What's multiply by 1/12 mean? Divide by 12. It's just divide by whatever the denominator is. Okay? All right? And if you remember because you guys have all seen multiplying fractions before, right? It's the same as saying 15 times 1/3, right? We just make that look like a fraction and then multiply straight across. Gives us 15 over 3. And 15 over 3 is just 15 divided by what? Which is 5. Yeah? Okay? So, you've multiplied fractions before, right? This should be review to you. Maybe, yes, maybe? You may not like it. You may not have done it well, but you've seen it before. We're gonna stick with this part of a number way of doing it right now. Okay? All right. So 1/3 of 15 is how many balloons? 5. Because 1/3 is the same as divide by 3. Okay? It's the same way of thinking of it as dividing it into 3 different groups. 3 equal groups, right? And you only want one of those groups. So 5 of them. There you go. Okay? So, everybody ready? Yes, you are. I want you to calculate 1/5 of 20. Go. Don't show it up. Hold on. Okay. 1/5 of 20. Now I don't want anybody to call out an answer. I'm going to call on you, but listen, I want you to answer the question I'm asking, not just tell me the answer to the problem, right? Because I need for everybody to understand how it works.
Are you using a calculator, Mrs. Sam?
No, I'm using my list maker. You know my list maker. That's right. The Listerator 3000. You guys crack me up. Violet! Violet, where are we, Violet? Violet! Hello, Violet. Violet. So I'm going to take 1/5 of 20, right? Well, taking 1/5 of a number is the same as simply dividing it by what? 5, right? Everybody agree? Taking 1/5 is simply the same as dividing it by 5? Okay. Brooke's not here. Olivia! And so, I know that taking 1/5 is the same as dividing by 5. So all I need to do is take 20 and divide it by 5, which is going to give me... 20 divided by 5 is... Look at me. There you go. I'm sorry. Put you on the spot. Sorry. Were you not working? You can walk yourself through it. You just don't like to go do the work. I know you. It's all right. So taking 1/5 of a number is the same as just dividing the number by what, guys? Everybody? 5. And 20 divided by 5 is 4. There you go. Okay? All right. Believe in yourself. I don't know why it's a motivational sloth, but there you go. You got it out of your systems? Everybody go, oh, okay, good. All right, moving on. All right, so you just divide 20 into 5 groups, and 20 divided into 5 equal pieces is 4. Okay? Right? And they're showing the whole 5 groups of 4. All right. Now, this is one of your problems, but we'll do it together. No, because you got to draw this one. I'm sorry, you can't do that. But there's some more of these.
Oh, guys,
Let's see.
This is your book. You know? I love it when the education has
Here we go. Here we go. To find a fraction of amount, which operation do we use? Addition, exponents, multiplication, or division? Division, right? The fraction bar means to do what? Divide. Good job. Okay. There's the one I wanted to see. All right. Now, but sometimes we want more than one piece of something. So I may want not one. I don't know what those. I have no idea what they are, but they must be delicious. All right. Okay. So sometimes you need to take more than one piece. So in other words, it may not be 1/3 of something, or 1/5 of something, or 1/6 of something. In other words, the top number, which is called anybody remember the numerator? There you go. May not be 1. It may be some other number, right? Okay. So we need to see what happens in that case. But it's okay. So let's say I've ordered 1/3 of the balloons. Now I need to buy the other 2/3. Because remember, if you have 1/3 of them, then there are 2/3 left, right? Because there are 3/3 total. All right. Well, how would you find 2/3 of 15? Well, it's easy to find 1/3 of something. 1/3 is the same as divide it by what? 3, right? Do you agree with that? Yeah. Okay. So what is 15 divided by 3 going to make? 5. But I don't want one lot of 5. I want what?
2.
Which means I need to do what to them?
Add them both together.
Or there's another way of doing addition too. Like if I had 2 lots of 5, I could add them together, but that's the same as having 2 times 5. So same thing, same exact pattern, right? 5 plus 5 is the same as 2 times 5s, right? Okay, good job. There you go. So what is 2 times 5 going to make? 10. Okay? So you want twice as many, so 2 times. So if you have a number on the top, you're still going to divide by the bottom, but then what do you do with that number on the top? Multiply it. Okay? So here are the steps. All right? First, divide by the denominator. I just use capital B to mean denominator and D to be denominator. I'm never going to use capital D for anything else. And then multiply by the numerator. Okay?
Yes.
So which one do you do first? It's written right in front of you. Divide by the denominator. And then which one do you do second?
Multiply
By the numerator. Can you see that says numerator? My handwriting's a little messy. Okay? Everybody guys have that written down?
No.
Okay?
Wait, I have 100. I have 3 non-words.
Okay.
What are you?
All right. Ready?
Wait, no.
Okay. So, divide by the denominator and then multiply that answer times the numerator. Okay? This couldn't be easier. Don't make it hard. Okay? Are we ready now, right? Well, if we're not, you're just going to have to scream a little bit. I'm used to it. Okay, here we go. That's the one we just did. So let's do this one. Okay, here we go, guys. 3/4 of 20 sandwiches are made with ham. So 3/4 of 20. Okay? Well, we know that because it's a fraction, the bottom number, what are we going to do with the bottom number? Divide with it. There you go. Excellent. And then, so, let's just walk ourselves through this. Shh, guys. Okay. So it's going to be 20 divided by, what's the bottom number? 4. Which equals what, guys? 5. But I've got a top number that's different than 1, yeah? So I have to take 5 times that top number, which gives me, and there's my answer. Okay. Divide by the bottom, multiply what's left times the top. Get it? Okay. Everybody got that written down? Okay. Because now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do some blank paper, and I'm going to give you several to do, and we're going to do them together. Yeah, yes, you can do that. Yeah, these are examples, so you'll do them right there, and on your example side. Okay. Pardon? Okay, here we go. You should be doing these. Where's your paper? Okay. Ready, guys? And yet, all right. So let's say 1/6 of 36. Go.
Oh shit! So we have to
1/6 of 36. Operation is indicated by the word of. Multiplication, right? Okay, good job. Okay, Sally, so I'm going to take 1/6 of 36. It says to multiply, but because it's 1/6, do I actually multiply?
No, you do not.
Okay, I'm going to divide. Exactly, good. Georgia. She's not here. Okay, thank you. Saskia, I know you're here. All right, so I'm not going to multiply. I'm going to, right? So what am I going to do here? It's going to be 36 divided by 6. Good job. All right, and Millie, which gives me 36 divided by 6 gives me 6.
Number puppies.
There you are. Now, do you have to write down everything as much as I did? No, but remember, I'm trying to show you what's happening. So, right? So I'm going to write down more than you need to. Right? So don't think that you have to write it down in such detail as I just did, okay? I'm hoping you don't. All right. Are we ready? Hold on a minute. I'm going to get 30 seconds on the clock. Doing it anyway. Remember, when you're doing the multiplication, when you're doing the fraction, a fraction of a number, you simply take that number and divide it by the denominators. So 24 divided by 3. Loden, what's 24 divided by 3 going to give me? Loden.
It is 24 divided by 3 is 8.
8. Okay? Good job. But, Nene, I'm not finished, am I? Because this number was not a 1 this time, was it? So I have to take that 8 times what? 2, which gives me 16. There you go. Now again, you don't have to drag it out as much as I did. I'm trying to make sure that everybody understands it. So I'm going through every step, right? Okay? So divide by the denominator, multiply what's left times the numerator. Okay? Ready for another one?
Thank you.
Okay, guys, here we go. Go. 30 seconds. This is a really easy one. 5. So what's 25 divided by 5 going to make? 5. There we go. Good job. Grace. There you are, Grace. Now, am I done with the 5 though? Nope. Because I have that 3, I have to take 5 times the 3, which gives me... And that's my completed answer, right? Yeah? 25 divided by 5, and whatever that is, times the 3. 1, 2, 3. Quick and easy. Good? All right, excellent. All right, guys, here's another one. Ready? Okay. Go, guys. Oh, wait a minute. Slow down. It does work. What is the golden rule of fractions? Simplify. So you see that sometimes before you can do any other work, you have to simplify the fraction. 5 and 15 will both divide by what? 5, right? So that's going to give you what? Okay. I still picked a bad number. I meant to do this. Sorry. All right. Sorry, I wrote down I was not thinking. All right. Now look at what it does. 36 divided by 3 is? Okay. All right. I wrote down the wrong number. But you did see the same. You saw the same thing. 36 won't divide by 15, will it? But if you did if you reduce them first to 1/3, then it works, doesn't it? So make sure you remember that you always have to reduce the fractions first, if you can. Can you always reduce a fraction? No, but if you can, you have to.